Tuesday. Welcome back. Welcome back. Final hour, just after 3 p.m. Just did some numbers, sent out some updates in Telegram. We are tracking some pretty decent numbers here for the winners. 352 winners on my daily profit play over the last roughly 9 months of service. 352 live trades, 90.7% win rate, lots of winners. We're trading every single day, daily profit play. We have 84 winners booked, 5 open positions. We've taken a couple losses that were discretionary. We got beat up on 2 losses during the chaos this year. March and April, we ended up taking 2 losses, but we navigated that downturn pretty well. 92.3% win rate on waterfall income, flexible passive income strategy, a lot of workability in the trade. I do the same thing almost every Monday, low maintenance, index swing trading, index day trading. So just kind of the tip of the iceberg of just a couple things that I'm doing every single week with my members, and just wanted to share it. So talk about it today. And daily profit play still open for new members. Waterfall income still open for new members. I have other services I'll show you here in a little bit on Discord. We talked about it yesterday. Newsbreakers, double ups. I'm going to start incorporating a daily profit room where if you want to join me for a bulk of time in the morning for a good 2-hour chunk, we'll be able to touch on a variety of strategies, the way I'm looking at the market, top down, what's my daily process, deconstructing trades, teaching little bits, all these awesome strategies that I'd like to deploy to trade the markets up, down, and sideways. So more details on that to come later this week. But we are fighting the good fight, grinding out. I also did some premium selling today. So just a quick recap on just some trading. I ended up logging 39 trades today, just a little bit of pruning the portfolio. That included the following. I've got some winners this week, which include NVIDIA naked put. It was a 350 credit, closed for 23 cents debit. So it took about 93% of that trade and closed it out. I also did some NVIDIA rolls. So I rolled it out by a couple weeks and added some more credit. AAL, I have some naked puts. These will expire at the end of the week. Should be full credit. Should be worth about 52 cents per contract. And I have 2,000 shares worth of AAL. So that's a nice little chunk there that expires on the 18th. TLT, it was a roll. It was a diagonal spread. So I closed out my sell calls for 100%. Technically it was a 0.01 debit that I closed it out for, but I closed those out, added some new ones. So I've lowered my cost basis again, and I'm still in TLT. I'm still able to make good profit on the upside. I went out to September. I still have the 89 call. I pulled in about 90 cents credit per contract on the sell side, which lowers my cost basis again. I'd like to see the TLT catch a little bit of a bid to get up to $88, $89. But it's fine. I'll just keep rolling the cost down. My break even right now is $84.20. So I'm still actually in profit despite this turn lower from the recent highs around $88.50 down to current price at $85. Tesla, I did another covered call roll. MicroStrategy, I did another covered call roll. And SPY did another covered call roll. This is going to be increased. Tesla, let me look at my numbers here. Tesla increased profit by 205. MicroStrategy increased profit. Spelled that incorrectly. Increased profit by MSTR by $8.70. And SPY increased profit. That was 503. Okay, so overall, just adds up some nice winners. 350 minus 23, 327 in profit. The rolls on NVIDIA, that would be rolled. Actually, you know what? I didn't roll those yet. I have to roll those. So to do that, I'll actually look at that today. So to do is get the NVIDIA rolls out. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that one. This would be another 52 cents. So plus 0.52 on AAL. TLT end up grabbing 80 cents plus 90 cents plus 2.05 plus 8.70 plus 5.03. So over $2,000 in credit per account. That's not too bad. That adds up nicely over some managed accounts. And only out maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks. I didn't have to go out that far, less than 30 on most of these, and just doing some maintenance. We had a good trade running today on daily profit play. We ended up grabbing profit pretty early. Updated daily profit play this morning. We got out around 11 a.m. and it was trading pretty nicely down to nearly credit by 1 p.m. So it worked out pretty well. We said 6,300 looked like a pretty solid resistance level. The markets are down today, which I'm totally fine with. We're actually red on the S&P. We're just clinging to some positives because mainly because of NVIDIA. NVIDIA popped up pretty nicely, like almost 5%. Dragged the Qs higher, initially dragged the SPX higher. We did have a higher inflation reading from the U.S. today. I think the markets kind of, hit that resistance level and again started to fade. We'll see if that becomes a concern. The Dow was down 0.8%, Russell down over 1.5%. Volatility index having a bit of a spike. It was up into the 17s, faded a little bit. We're down 0.76 on the VIX, but it's been all over the place this morning. We started out around 16.6, rallied up to 17, came back down and faded slightly. So it shows negative on the day, but when the trading started this morning, here's the 9:30 open. Right here in my crosshairs, that's the opening bell. So we're trading right around 16.5 and a nice little spike up 6. So I still have a trade pending for the afternoon. I don't know if I'm going to get filled on this. I probably won't. We only have 30 minutes left. Put in a trade that if we fall to 62.35, I'm looking for that to be a little bit of a bottom today. So I have a bull put spread sitting there for 275 credit, but they'll unlikely get filled. I think right now it's probably offering, 10 cents or something silly like that. So let me see what it's showing. Trading on SPX for today, showing 5 cents credit and looking for a 75 fill, so that's likely not going to take. No big deal. We've got a decent pop out of China. I'm red on the day as far as like the overall positions and the exposure, but that's okay. A lot of pruning, a lot of increasing profit potential, lowering my cost basis. That's a good thing. Okay, so let's go some more top down. Let's see here. I do want to check and see how far out my positions are in IWM because I know that's another one I want to roll. I might look at NVIDIA, and I've got some trades pending for my newsbreakers. Yesterday, we did a lot of that in my final hour session. This is NVIDIA. So I'm going to look to roll these right now. So I've got shares. If I roll this call, I'm going to try to roll this out to like the August 15th. Already trading up to 170. So I'm going to try to get whatever I can, maybe go out we're 3 days from expiration. If I roll this thing out another 30 days or so, let's look at this roll. So out to the August expiration, keep the strike the same. Maybe go out to the end of August, keep the strike the same. This isn't too bad. So, I get an extra $1.65. I have 500 shares. So if I get an extra $1.65, make another $800 on NVIDIA for another roughly 40 days of trading. I'd like to maybe consider going out. This is so far out of the money here that maybe I go out another expiration cycle. So September, and keep the strike the same. See if I can bump this up and still get credit. I can go 132. This gives me an increase of 250. Let's try this one. So 250 versus 250. So 230 versus 250. Or go back in expiration, keep the strike the same, $1.55. So how much further is that? That strike's kind of unattainable. I want to pay a debit to roll this. So I'll go out September 19, 130, roll this up to 132, still get some credit for it. That's probably the sweet spot right there. Let me see if I can get 60 cents in this trade. So let's try this one. All right. So what are the accounts that have NVIDIA? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Closed out my naked puts. 1, 2, 3, 4 naked puts closed out today. I'm just going to I don't want to let the call expire. It's pretty much, in the money by 40 bucks. So I'm just using it as an income source right now to try to grab a few more dollars. I'll take a look at silver. I don't think it's bearish. I think silver is a good looking trade to hold. I just want to buy dips on silver. All right, let me go into some of these accounts that have NVIDIA shares. So this one, looking to roll. So roll on NVIDIA. Not interested in doing nothing. So roll it out to August 15th. Roll it out to August 22nd. Roll it out to August 29th. This one's not too bad. Rather than going all the way to September, this is only an extra 42 days versus 66 days. So maybe, let's see, this would give me an increase here September 19th or August 29th. So I save about 20 days. I get $1.50 versus $2.50. What's an at the money? And you get like an $8 to $10 credit at the money. So the premiums are pretty healthy. September, I think this is fair. I'm going to roll this out for $1.55, hopefully. $1.55. See if this will take. So roll this. Keep the strike the same, 130, get $1.55. And I have 100 shares, so $1.55. Come on, give me some generosity here. 155. Try to go 160 actually. Not filling there. 157. Try to get the mid price. Just under the mid at 155. Be generous. Come on, NVIDIA. I tried this morning. It was just a little sensitive on the fill. 153. Come on. You frickin' turds. 150. 140. I mean, I might as well go out in time. All right, filled for 145. All right, so that is a roll. I'm doing a roll out to 829 expiration and keeping the 130 sell call for $1.45. All right, so decrease the cost basis by $1.45. This trade right here, same thing. Quick roll out to August 29th. Keep it there, get filled at 145. Got it. This account here. Roll out to the 29th. 145. Got it. No exposure on this one. This one. Quick roll. 29th. $1.45. Success. $1.45. Okay, that naked put was closed out for profit. No account, no accounts, no accounts, no NVIDIA. This one, no exposure. This one, no exposure. This one, no exposure. This one, no exposure. Okay. Okay, so that was good. Let me just add this up to my NVIDIA. New collar trade 119. So take this down, 119. Rolled to 829. Expiration for $1.45 credit. And that break even would be 68 minus $1.45, 118.23. Okay, so rolling that out. If I get it called away, still at 130, make 11 at 500 shares. So 58.85 would be my NVIDIA profit. And that gets me exposure-wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 shares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 shares covered out to August 29th, 130. I'll keep rolling. Hopefully premiums get a little bit better where when I can roll up and out in time to try to increase that profit potential. Closeout puts, collar trade, that naked put, I might just add another like out of the money put protector. Just throwing it out there to the end of the year just to make it really, really cheap. In fact, I think I'm going to do that now. I want to see how cheap it is actually. So if I were to buy, let me see what it is to just buy a call. If I buy a put to the end of the year on Nvidia, I'm going to go way down here. Like it's still $4 to buy. That's so expensive. I'm going to buy like 100, like a way out of the money. This is a 4 delta. Just spend a buck on it. That'll increase my cost basis a little bit, but I'll have some protection out to the end of the year. So if we do have like a 170 to 150 drop or 170 to 1 whatever drop, here's the chart. I mean, if we see a pullback on Nvidia, I can at least turn this option chain into something decent. I mean, the stock has ripped up almost 100%. And if we have any pullback, let's say let's take a low here and a high here, we pull back even to these recent highs, pulling back towards the 150 handle. That should be enough to turn a little bit of profit on 100 put, a little bit because it's so far out of the money. Or if I want to make it dirt cheap, then I do like a spread. Let me see what this would cost me. So if I go, let's see, like maybe a 120. So if I buy the 120 put, that's a 10 delta, and then I sell the 100 put. So for $1.62, I can get almost $2,000 in protection, which will lower my cost basis by almost $18 for only $160. I might as well go down a little bit lower. I'd like to keep this debit a little lighter. So it cost me $100 to protect about $1,300 to $1,400. That lowers my cost basis down to like 106, 105. That's not a bad trade. So if I want to make it dirt cheap, then I just pay for the out of the money put, but that's probably going to be low probability of profit. Spread makes it a little bit cheaper, gives me some wiggle room. Let me just debate on that for a sec. I think I'm just going to do this. I think I'm just going to buy the 100. If we get like a big drop in a video with all the leverage that's in it, see if I can just turn $100 into some profit. So potentially, $1 can turn into, $5 maybe. Turn this into some lowering the cost basis down to 114. If it gets ridiculous, then maybe this becomes $1 becomes, $8, $9, $10. That's a pretty good hedge just to have it. So let me get the accounts that have the exposure. We got about 18 minutes for the close. So Nvidia, this will be NVDA. Okay, so we have 100 shares there. 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 And then this one already had naked puts closed out. All right, so that's it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These accounts I'm going to add in a long put and just turn this into something pretty cheap. So $100 hedge. It will increase the cost, like I said, but if I get this thing to pay, $5 or $10, I might just put in a limit credit and just take profit. So that way, if I hit it, try to get, $9 to lower my cost basis, I'd be actually pretty happy with that. We'd have to have a really big fall for that to happen, but it's still there if I need to have the protection. So let's go 105. Not feeling it 105. Let's go 106. All right, 106 taking the trade there. What account was that? December 19th, right there. Should be that account. Yep. All right. So that is check on that one. Similar. Same thing there. That one's done. That one's done. That one's done. Okay, so I should have now 5 puts. Have shares 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 covered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts. So basically, it's a staggered collar. I'm not even gonna call it that. It's just I put a put out to the end of the year just in case we have a big pullback and cover calls that will continue to roll. Now I'm going to increase my cost basis just a tiny bit, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think it's needed for protection. Added 1219 expiration 100 long put for $1.06. So that goes from a 118.23 back to 119.29. That way I can just continue to add cover calls, decrease the cost basis, still have protection all the way out to December, which realistically, if we have like a nasty spill September, October onwards, that should hopefully give me an increase. I'll put a debit on that one for $1.06. So if that $1.06 can become like $10, that'd be awesome. That's just a nice little hedge. But if it becomes nothing, then it's fine. I'm still making about $1,100 per share or per account. Okay. All right, so that's a lot of maintenance. NVIDIA, American Airlines, TLT, Tesla, MicroStrategy, SPY. I have some IWM and Qs coming up at the end of the month, which that's fine. The 31st and the 1st. August 1st is a Friday. We smash in non-farm payroll. We've got the tariff deadline as well. I'll see if Trump budges on that. Maybe, maybe not. Pullback levels, maybe something in these areas. Maybe pullbacks on like the 150. Maybe a pullback, maybe not a pullback. But I would just take a big fib from low to high and just see if this market is going to offer up something. There's a lot of leverage on NVIDIA. There's a lot of layers of derivatives on this underlying. So I mean, typically when we see a pullback on the underlying, you start to see like a lot more order flows and option flows that really kind of rocket and extreme, like give us some extreme moves on NVIDIA. So a little tiny pullback towards previous highs could also go a little bit more aggressive. So if we pull back to like 145 or 140 fast, it changes like everything in the options chain, and maybe I can turn that into some profit. So anyway, that's that. Let's go top down. SPX is negative. NDX is hanging in there by 1/3, 1%. Dow is down 0.8%. Russell down even more, 1.66%. VIX is still down for the day, but we saw intraday from opening bell onwards a little bit up. Move index and bond volatility starting to pull up all those highs. We go to the dollar index catching a bid, finally breaking a decent trend line. This is coming back to the 50-day moving average, which isn't a surprise. I think this has room to get up to like the 101 handle, 101 to 102 before I look to kind of fade the dollar again if we're going to see this secular bear market continue. Oil still pretty well supported off the 65 level. Natural gas making a nice little run. I've got a covered call on my it's a sell call on my diagonal spread at 1650. So I'm watching this one here. Let me go edit 1650. That's the diagonal spread sell call. Gold still sideways. Silver, somebody said bearish on silver. Absolutely not. Not in my opinion. I think silver is still looking really, really good to measure up to all-time highs. So I'm looking at silver as find your support, find your support, find your support, find your support, find your support. Stay with this thing. I'm going to stay with silver as long as this bull trend and this channel holds the integrity. I'm trying to be bullish on silver up to all-time highs. I think silver can get up to $48 and possibly higher. But I'm not trying to get greedy at all-time highs either, because when it came back to all-time highs here in 2011 and back in 1980, price got smashed all the way back down to $15. So No need to be greedy on silver. I'd love to see like a big, crazy, exponential squeeze on this thing, but hitting all-time highs would be trails, trail, 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 protect all those profits. Okay, Bitcoin had a decent pullback. We stretched all the way up to 123 and change, and we pulled back. So, fib wise, I've got a little low to high, hit the 18127 zone. Maybe we pull back into this area. If this is a swing, pull back here, maybe an A, B, C, trying to find this trend line, maybe pull back to this level at, I don't know, maybe we get back to 100K, maybe we get back to 90K. Maybe it's more aggressive than we think, and we still have a lot of past resistance to become support right around the 109, 110,000 mark. Previous highs run 112, poke that 112 a couple of times, then ripped higher. So if 112 becomes the support level and we start breaking all-time highs again, great. I'm still looking to hold Bitcoin for higher highs. MicroStrategy, just going to keep selling income on this one. Coinbase, I posted this trade earlier. This is for my Project Options Edge and Pulver alerts. I have a 455 level that I'm watching for a call condor. Ethereum has had a nice little run. Ethereum, I thought this was a really good technical setup for a catch-up trade. Buying in here. Let me go back to the daily time frame. Buying in here, and I measure this out where it's like, okay, look, based on this level, if we bought right around $25.94, we have room to get up to $44,050, and the high is at 4,800. This is kind of target one for profit protection. This is target two. So level one to buy and level two at the lows. Obviously, we're not pulling back to the lows yet. So if it just runs to these highs, that's fine. Then this is the trade, and you can eliminate risk as price goes higher. But I'm going to keep it there for right now. The way I've traded Ethereum is bought some shares of ETHA, and this is going up. So I'm up like, I don't know, maybe 20%, 30% on this right now, just on the underline. I know some traders that took some calls that are up like 85%, so that's pretty awesome too. Copper, after that big distorted move with the 50% tariff announcement, copper's still pretty choppy after that just wacky move. Also, the bid ask went super wide, so I haven't touched copper. Japanese yen is dropping a little bit, pretty aggressively actually, these last like 6 or 7 days. This, in all honesty, looks a lot like the inverse of the dollar yen. Dollar yen's moved from like 142 to 148. That is the move that we're seeing, kind of the inverse of 6J. Look at this thing. So this has gone up from 143 all the way up to 149. That's a 600 pip move on dollar yen. And let's go percentage wise. I don't know if this is going to be apples to apples, but that's about a 4.3% move. If you go to Japanese yen futures, is this down about the same? Down about 4.3%. So, almost the complete inverse, like perfect inverse of the dollar yen, which is another reason why if this comes back down, I'm still interested in buying Japanese yen down here and trading this as a potentially a large range. This is a large range of support to resistance. I don't care what this environment is. If it's negative swap, obviously I'm just going to trade futures, pay one contract, and move on. But I made some pretty good money on Japanese futures, and I'll kind of continue to look to exploit those highs and lows. Meanwhile, DAX just off the recent highs. FTSE just off the recent highs. Argentina has pulled back to a 200 moving average. I'm not ready to buy this dip. China doing pretty well actually. Baba and Baidu had some nice pops today. Brazil's back down to the 200 moving average. Latin America just above it, but still pulling back. Mags, thanks to Nvidia, is up higher. Apple, I did a ratio spread today on Apple for my Project Options Edge. Let me get that right here. Project Options Edge. New trade. I need to put this one in. I posted this earlier in Pulver alerts. Let me find it. So this is new trade on Apple. And let me find this is Apple right here. There it is. Okay, new trade on Apple, and I'll put this into my tracker. So another trade. That's a 116 expiration, the 170 by 165 ratio spread. Okay, that trade is in for Apple. Amazon Have some ratio spreads down below the 160 and 150 handle. Looks like we're stretching up to all-time highs. My Amazon exposure is looking pretty good, up about $2,300. Some puts, 160 by 155. That is a ratio spread. Got another one out to December, 155 by 150, up about 60%. Max profit 236. I'm up 140 right now. I'll just let those continue to decline. Hopefully this credit goes lower, meaning like my decay continues to work in my favor as price goes up, and that becomes 236, maybe trading for less than 30 cents or so. I'll take profit on that. Broadcom still a little bit higher. I'd like to see this thing roll over. I have a bear call spread in just for the short term. I don't know if I'm going to fulfill that. I'm not sure when the expiration is on AVGO. Let me check. I want to say it's either this Friday or it's the end of the month. Hopefully it's the end of the month, but I might have been stupid on that. AVGO. Son of a biscuit. All right, so it's this Friday. Crap. This thing's got to drop 15 bucks. It's unlikely. That might be a loss. Google still have some shares. Ratio spreads down below the 150 handle. Got a 135 by 130, 105 by 100. Meta, no trade on that right now. Microsoft is holding some shares to these highs. Took a lot of ratio spreads on Microsoft earlier in the year. That all worked out pretty well during the April bottom. Bought some shares at the same time. Netflix earnings this week. We'll see what happens. I'm looking for about $120 to $130 pop on Netflix according to my earnings calculations. So I'm looking to sell nice and high. NVIDIA poked up today on the H2O chips being allowed, and that was good news and dragged up the NASDAQ. Tesla trading at 311. Just going to continue to sell calls. I've got calls right now out to August 1st. I'm going to keep those there for the time being and just try to suck out some of that time decay. So July 18th, that put's going to be worthless. August 1st, 260s and 270s, 280s. Those are all of my sell calls that I'll just keep just adding. Collar trade right in here. This one's August 15th. And then some wide credit spreads up about 30%. Need some time decay. All right, what else? Berkshire Hathaway below the 200 moving average. I'm not touching this thing yet. If we get, this is actually one to keep an eye on. If we go from the below the 200 moving average up above it, that could be a good spot to get long, stop loss below, and then see if Berkshire works its way back up. It may or may not. I'm not sure. I mean, it's surprising how this stock has not performed well, but if we get a rotation out of AI, out of tech, into other things, Berkshire probably is going to get some inflows. But I would not touch this thing if we're just falling below the 200 moving average. Let's see if it pops back above. Bonds, like I said, down. I'm just lowering my cost base a little bit. Treasury yields are up. I mean, we've gone up about 30 basis points in the last couple of weeks. That's probably not a good sign. This market is still pricing in, bonds are pricing in slightly higher yields, inflationary pressures. Average mortgage still staying around 6.7. Futures market. We looking at anything bad on liquidity? Not really. Coming down a little bit, but nothing that stands out as a panic. I mean, this was when we had Liberation Day. Like, this was the credit markets getting very loose. Bid-ask prices get blown open. All right, we're falling to 62.47. We got some more downside pressure. I do have a 62.35 by 62.30 bull put spread. Maybe that's increasing in value right now. Probably still not going to get filled. We're only never mind. We're 3 minutes away. This is not going to fill. There's no way. There's no way. But it's interesting how price continues to fall. So not too bad. Honestly, for the markets, Russell down 1.5%, 1.6%, Dow down, almost 0.8%, SPY's down 1%, NASDAQ, because of NVIDIA, clinging up to, I think, a positive on the day, I think. But we're selling off a little bit heavier, so Q's only up 0.18%, SPX down 1/3, 1%, Dow is down almost 1%, Russell down 1.87%. So market's taking a little bit of a beating today. From high to low, we popped up on the CPI news. The market's fading it all day. We're at 0.88% from high to low. It registers a much lower loss because of that gap higher, but this is where we closed yesterday. So we're only down about 0.3% from the close yesterday. It's just price action today is almost down 0.9%, which I did plan on about a 1% move. So we're down about 0.9. We're coming into kind of that 1% window. The reason I put this potential bottom in here is, let's see. I mean, it's not going to fill me. I know it's not going to fill me in the next 2 minutes. It would have been lovely to see this trade earlier in the day, like around 12 or 1 o'clock, to kind of bounce off these lows. But it's looking like it's putting some pressure on these levels. These previous lows around 62.38. We could be in for some more pressure to the downside tomorrow. Key level, I talked about this. I posted this in Discord. I posted this in Telegram. If you go into my Telegram channel here, okay, Telegram channel here, this video, 6,300 highs to 6,200 lows, watch key levels on SPX. I talk about how important it is to see where price is going to be between this 6,300 resistance zone and this floor right now, which I'm looking at 6,200. If the markets stay here, and I think this is key, if the market stays between these two levels, it's just more indecision, right? But if the market is going to put pressure on 62 and break 62, then there's room to fall a lot lower. I'll talk about this more tomorrow in live sessions. I'll talk about this more tomorrow also in my profit panel at 11 o'clock. That's one of the kind of key takeaways for this week as far as price action and market structure. I see a question on IBIT. IBIT is pulling back like Bitcoin is. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to let this kind of run. Does it pull back to previous all-time highs, and then we start to gather and trough here and then work our way back up? We've seen some thrusts on Bitcoin and then some consolidation. So if it's going to consolidate again like it did here, like it did here, like it did here, that's kind of what I'm watching for. And we ended the last 10 minutes ended pretty poorly. So I think I put it down maybe over 0.9% from high to low today. That's got to be close. So from high to low, about a 0.9%, 0.95% move on the SPX. Go to NDX. A little bit choppier and kind of more insulated, 0.74 high to low. The Dow kind of got slapped in the face today. Here's Dow down pretty much all day. High to low in the Dow, over 1.13% from high to low. And the Russell, I would say, face stomped on. Russell down 2.4% from high to low today, registering 1.95% loss. So, and again, that's okay. I'm still just selling calls in the Russell with a 200 strike to a 1 is what I moved it up to. I'll just keep looking to do my best and generate the income. But here we are on SPY, SPX, just watching, and tomorrow's a new day. So let me get rid of that potential floor. We didn't find it today. No trade. And potential top, no trade. And we'll come back and tackle it again tomorrow. Good on the SAM for IBIT. CAD yen. Currency wise, let's take a look at currency strength. CAD yen trading at 108. I don't like getting in the CAD yen now. I think if you're looking at the CAD yen, it's either going to a smaller time frame and scalping alignments, or looking to see if this trend line will hold. If you have any dips or pullbacks to this moving average cluster, looking for a U-turn on a smaller time frame, trying to get a stop loss below a turn. Room to come back into this level, room to come back to this level. Maybe this range high to range low, this might just keep grinding. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to really love the yen pairs. Currency strength started to branch out a little bit more. Dollar on top, CAD on top, JPY getting hit pretty hard. Dollars up, catching a bid. As I said, watch for that symmetry, watch for those oversold conditions. DXY starting to show it can catch a bid, maybe get back to the 100 handle, maybe 101 or 102. DXY trading at 98.63. So a little pullback on the dollar doesn't hurt anybody. It's surprising to see the dollar catch a bid and not see TLT catch a bid. But I think the reason that TLT is not catching a bid is because yields are going higher. And we're continuing to watch that for right now. So if the U.S. 10-year yield will not go down, again, maybe best case scenario is we just range on the 10-year. But if we see bond yields going higher and pushing the TLTs down to fresh lows, this is that question about growth, stagflation, choking out all the momentum that this market's trying to price in, all the optimism that's being priced in. The bond market could tell us a very different story. So it's not something to ignore. I'm sorry, I said this today in an earlier session. Housing market, bond market, labor market, the consumer, those things need to be steady. Okay? If any of those legs are breaking, if any of those legs are kicked out from underneath the stool, I think it loses balance. I think the economy slips into a stall, potentially slipping into a fall, and there could be some ugly downside, as we know. Okay. Please excuse with the trade tracker being updated for waterfall. Yep. Every week, Joy. So we took trades on waterfall this Monday, put a trade in on IWM, and we've got trades in IWM, QQQ, SPX, all running. So it's updated 7/14. Took the trade this week on Monday. Tracker's still updated. Yep. Okay. That's going to do it for today. Again, currency strength wise, just a summary. Dollar on top today, Japanese yen weakest. We've seen about a 600 to 700 pip recovery on the dollar yen. I mean, to me, it's just a big range from the July to August slide last year. That's still where the dollar yen is contained. It looks like we have an up channel right now as the dollar's catching a bit of a bid. I'll watch the structure. If the dollar yen somehow gets back to 160, 162, I'll wait for confirmation to short it. If we have resistance at the 150 area, I'll look for confirmation to short it. I'll probably just trade the futures market. Okay. All right. So before we go, if you're in my Telegram, I'll share these links. You can join my Telegram free. Okay. You can join my Discord free. Posted some, highlights. I mean, been to some of these services for about 8 months. 352 winners on daily profit play. That's a lot of winners, almost 91%. And waterfall income, 84 winners on a 91 trades, 92.3, and still going strong with 5 open positions. And we do it live every single week. So there's other services. I talked about these as well. If you're in my Discord channel here, come into the education updates and daily profit play where we trade every single day. Waterfall income. It's basically an index swing service on Mondays. Double up alerts is discretionary. Newsbreakers is heavily focused on mergers, acquisitions, and earnings and big news events. Options Edge is very discretionary, like the way I trade and manage money. Pinch Point Scanner is an awesome scanner that just gives me like perfect little trades that are just ready to move. So we have a lot of coiling, a lot of energy has to go somewhere in the markets. It usually is a volatility expansion, and we are 9 for 10. I've been running this service for 4 weeks now, and we've had 9 winners and 1 small loss. Crash Insurance Masterclass, teaching people how to protect their portfolio. I do this every quarter, every half year, every full year. Try to make it as cost effective as possible to protect the downside. If you want all this stuff with one price and just a little yearly maintenance fee, you get an all access. I run alerts here. I've got some legacy courses, pattern trading, symmetry, measurements, technical analysis, support, resistance, structure, trend lines, all in the Survival Trader Toolkit, and then practical options. $27 for get started in options, full course for $497, and 13 of my favorite strategies. So if you have any questions on this, jump in my Discord, hit me up. I'm here in the free group chat. I'm here in all these different channels. I talk to everybody. I don't send direct messages. I don't send friend requests. I'm just here talking to everybody. Cool. Right. My Telegram, also free to join. Post, video updates, trade alerts, news breakers, new trades we posted yesterday. Anytime we're going live here on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So just keeping everyone in the loop on what's going on. And just today's another day. Joy says, didn't see any posted since May 19th. Joy, what's up with your tracker on waterfall? Is that what you're talking about? Double check. I mean, I'm looking at the same thing for all members. I'm showing it right here. This is the tracker that I update. Come down here. This is my tracker. This is my trade. Trade this week. Trade last week. Trade the week before that. Trade the week before that. Trade the week before that. We keep taking trades. So I'm not sure if you bookmarked one and somehow the link was off. But anyway, if you need help, just email support@prosperitypub.com. We should be able to get you updated like in the classroom. But that's weird because we're definitely trading on Mondays. The live sessions have been moved to 12:30 p.m. on Mondays because I'm in another session called Profit Panel. Okay. All right. So if you need to, email support@prosperitypub.com and just see what's up if your tracker's not showing what I'm showing. But I have trades all the way to Monday this week on IWM. That was the last trade we took. Okay. All right, everybody. I'll let you go for today's final hour. Thanks for being with me today. Just pruning the portfolio for the most part. And that was something along the lines of, get out of here. Where the heck did my broker go? Strange. Get rid of that. It's like my mouse doesn't want to work for some reason. All right, whatever. All right, I'll let you go. Watch the VIX tomorrow. Key levels. Check out that video that I posted in Telegram. 6,300, 6,200. Again, watch these levels. If price holds that floor, if price holds this resistance, then we're trading inside this area for the week. Okay, a lot of chop. Let's see what price does off of these lows. If price breaks these lows, we have open space to drop. So I just want us to be aware we should be I'm expecting a pullback for the next, 30, 60, 90 days. It might not be anything violent, it might not be anything crazy, but obviously the market's going to be like, "Oh, inflation, oh, the trade war deadline, oh, blah blah blah." But technically we need to have a pullback. The 50-day moving average is right around 6,000 on the SPX. I think that's a pretty good target to hit, just depends on how fast and why. Okay? All right. So, I'll come back and see you tomorrow. All right, thanks everybody. Take care. Bye.